Okay, now we'll move on to the story of A Course in Miracles. And we're going to be going on to talk about the illusion of suffering. Now, I'm very familiar what an illusion is. However, this shit we're dealing with Gary Vaynerchuk and the Monavand crew is witchcraft. It's associated with the frequency, with their meditation, and how they repetitively use mantras to terrorize other people. So this is like more than just being self-aware. This is like needs to be a collective frequency shift is what it's hard for me to describe this to you because you're all doing it. If 1 million people believe in one thing, then this one thing doesn't become an illusion anymore. It creates itself as the truth, which is an out of integrity, which makes you ill. So me battling the illusion of the Gary and Mona thing is one person against millions. Because even Gary Vaynerchuk has a hard time controlling it. Because that's how demonic all this shit is. Because he's suffering is what I'm trying to tell you. He's trying to save the world. So and he's got vengeance on his mind, yes. But it's like when you're in it versus watching it, it's a different experience. And sometimes it's harder to see the pain that is putting upon other people. But it's also the other way around also. What? Who's not listening? You? Oh, he doesn't want to hear suffering. Well, we're talking about suffering. Although suffering is the illusion. It is. It's the illusion. However, it's like, it's complicated. Let me just read it. Let me just read this. I'm like exhausted. This energy that I read from this chapter in the Secret Team is intense. Suffering is an emphasis upon all that the world has done to injure you. So, okay, so you saw how I can bounce back, and I'm still suffering. However, even if this was true, which it's not, but I'm just saying, there are things out of my life like this that have been true. And I've been able to battle it in the sense of moving forward and not... Whatever, Gary. He's trying to put himself in the mix. I love you. Now stop it. I know. He's trying to coach me. No, let me read. Be quiet. He's like, you're making me suffer right now. He's like, be sensible. No, you be sensible. Here is the world's demented version of salvation clearly shown. Like to a dream of punishment in which the dreamer is unconscious of what brought on the attack against himself, he sees himself attacked unjustly and by something not himself. He is the victim of this something else, a thing outside of himself for which he has no reason to be held responsible. True. He must be innocent because he knows that what he does, but what is done to him. Yet his own attack upon himself apparent still, for it is he who bears the suffering, and he cannot escape because its source is seen outside of himself. True, Gary. Now, the difference in this and real life of what we're dealing with here is that this is basically letting you learn to let go. right? The concern here is that Gary will not let me go, which induces this type of suffering that you see upon myself, attached to a notion that he is working against the bad guys to expose the bad guys. Do you see how we're at war here? Is what I'm really trying to get to you, to tell you. Now, you are being shown that you can escape. So this is what he needs to learn, and that everyone needs to learn when it comes to the Democratic Party and the suffering. Because it's a collective consciousness experience. All that is needed is you to look upon the problem as it is, and not the way that you have set it up. How can there be another way to solve a problem which is very simple, but has been obscured by heavy clouds of complication, which were made to keep the problem unresolved? And it still is unresolved. Without the clouds, the problem will emerge in all its primitive simplicity. The choice will not be difficult because the problem is absurd when clearly seen. No one has difficulty making up his mind to let a simple problem be resolved if it is seen as hurting him and also very easily removed. The reasoning by which the world is made, on which it rests, by which it is maintained, is simply this: you are the cause of what I do. Your presence justifies my wrath, and you exist and think apart from me. While you attack, I must be innocent, and what I suffer from is your attack. No one who looks upon this reasoning exactly as it is could fail to see it does not follow and it makes no sense. Yet it seems sensible because it looks as if the world were hurting you, and so it seems as if there is no need to go beyond the obvious in terms of cause. There is indeed a need. The world's escape from condemnation is a need which those within the world are joined in sharing. Yet they do not recognize their common need, for each one thinks that if he does, this part of condemnation of the world will rest on him, and it is this that he perceives to be as his part in its deliverance. Vengeance must have a focus, otherwise is the avenger's knife in his own hand and pointed to himself, and he must see in another's hand if he would be a victim of attack he did not choose, and thus he suffers from the wounds a knife he does not hold has made upon himself. This is the purpose of the world he sees, and he looked at thus. The world provides the means by which this purpose seems to be fulfilled. The means attest the purpose, but are not themselves a cause, nor will the cause be changed by seeing it apart from its effects. The cause produces the effects, which then bear witness to the cause and not themselves. Look then beyond effects. It is not here the cause of suffering and sin must lie, and dwell not on the suffering and sin, for they are but reflections of their cause. The part you play in salvaging the world from condemnation is your own escape. Forget not that the witness to the world of evil cannot speak except for what he sees, for what he has seen a need for evil in that world. And this is where your guilt was first beheld, and separation from your brother was the first attack upon yourself begun. And it is this that the world bears witness to. Seek not another cause, nor look among the mighty legions of his witnesses for its undoing. They support its claim on your allegiance. What conceals the truth is not where you should look to find the truth. The witnesses to sin all stand within one little space, and it is here you find the cause of your perspective on the world. Once you are aware of what the cause of everything that would appear to thrust upon you, uninvited, unasked, must really be, of one thing you were sure: of all the many causes you perceived and bringing pain and suffering to you, your guilt was not among them. Nor did you in any way request them for yourself. This is how all illusions come about. The one who makes them does not see himself as making them, and their reality does not depend on him. Whatever cause they have is something quite apart from him, and what he sees is separate from his mind. It is the what is so, Gary Vaynerchuk. He cannot doubt his dreams reality because he does not see the part he plays in making them and making them real. Illusions are made up in the mind. However, what you see becomes reality. Words you hear out of the horse's mouth becomes facts. And if you stick with the facts and you don't decipher out in the bogus land of imagination, then you can step away from illusions and live in reality, which then allows you to move forward. Now, the game playing that we have going on in today's society is, for example, with the Gary Vaynerchuk situation, we factually see visualizations of photographs of Gary and Mona kissing on her page. We've heard Gary Vaynerchuk say out of his mouth, he says, "My girlfriend, Mona Vand." And then I say to myself, I don't want to be a part of this. However, Gary Vaynerchuk grabs me by the wrist and will not let me go. And that's where I go insane. And that's where the psychosis of humanity has extended itself into no boundaries, no escapism. I'm in prison. I'm imprisoned by the viewing of Gary Vaynerchuk and the purposeful placement of Mona Vand's manifestation of thoughts through her meditation practice to be put upon in my head. And the difference is she gets enjoyment out of someone else's pain. So that tells you that she lives in an insane mind. Because a person who attempts to create falsifications and illusions upon someone else in painful ways, of any way, lives from illusions and lives for the despair of society and humanity. And that's what most of these hoes and these people on this platform known as TikTok are doing to society. However, most of you don't understand what's actually going on, and you live in the space of pretty privilege. You put them on a pedestal and act as if their words are more valuable than you as a person. You act as if your voice doesn't matter, or you act as if your voice is the only one that matters. No one can awaken from a dream. The world is dreaming for him. He becomes a part of someone else's dream. He cannot choose to awaken from a dream he did not make. Helpless, he stands a victim to a dream conceived and cherished by a separate mind. Careless indeed of him this mind must be, a thoughtless of his peace and happiness as is the weather or the time of day. It loves him not, but casts him as it will in any role that satisfies its dream. So little is his worth that he is but a dancing shadow leaping up and down according to a senseless plot conceived within the idle dreaming of the world. This is the only picture you can see, the one alternative that you can choose. The other possibility of cause, if you be not the cause of suffering, is in your mind. Be glad indeed it is, for thus are you the one decipher of your destiny and time. The choice is yours to make between a sleeping death and dreams of evil, or a happy awakening and joy of life. What could you choose between but life or death, waking or sleeping, peace or war, your dreams or your reality? Yet if your choice is really given you, then you must see the causes of the things you choose between exactly as they are and where they are. What choices can be made between two states, but one of which is clearly recognized? Who could be free to choose between effects? Then only one is seen as up to him. An honest choice could never be perceived as one in which the choice is split between a tiny you and an enormous world with different dreams about the truth in you. The gap between reality and dreams lies not between the dreaming of the world and what you dream in secret. They are one. The dreaming of the world is but a part of your own dream you give away and saw as it were its start and ending both. Yet was it started by your secret dream, which you do not perceive, although it caused the part of you and do not doubt is real? How could you doubt it while you lie asleep and dream in secret when its cause is real? A brother separated from yourself, an ancient enemy, a murderer who stalks you in the night and plots your death, yet plans it by lingering and slow. And this you dream. Yet underneath this dream is yet another in which you become the murderer, the secret enemy, the scavenger, the destroyer of the brother and the world alike. Here is the cause of suffering, the space between your dreams and your reality. The little gap you do not even see, the birthplace of illusions and fear, and time of terror and of ancient hate, the instant of disaster, all are here. Here is the cause of unreality, and it is here that it will be undone. You are the dreamer of the world of dreams. No other cause it has, nor ever will. Nothing more fearful than an idle dream has terrified God's Son and made him think that he has lost his innocence, denied his Father, and made war upon himself. So fearful is the dream, so seeming real, he could not waken to reality without the sweat of terror and scream of mortal fear, unless a gentler dream preceded his awakening and allowed his calmer mind to welcome, but not to fear. The voice that calls will love to waken him, a gentler dream in which his suffering was healed and where his brother was his friend. God willed he waken gently and with joy, and gave him means to waken without fear. Accept the dream he gave instead of yours. It is not difficult to shift a dream when once the dreamer has been recognized. Rest in the Holy Spirit and allow his gentle dreams to take the place of those you dreamed in terror and in fear of death. He brings forgiving dreams in which the choice is not who is the murderer and who shall be the victim. In the dreams he brings there is no murder and there is no death. The dream of guilt is fading from your sight, although your eyes are closed. A smile has come to lighten up your sleeping face. The sleep is peaceful now, for these are happy dreams. Dream softly of your sinless brother who unites with you in holy innocence, and from this dream the Lord of heaven will himself awaken. His beloved Son, dream of your brother's kindness instead of dwelling in their dreams on his mistakes. Select his thoughtfulness to dream about instead of counting up the hurts he gave. Forgive him his illusions and give thanks to him for all the helpfulness he gave. And do not brush aside his many gifts because he is not perfect in your dreams. He represents his Father, whom you see as offering both life and death to you. Brother, he gives you life. He gives but life. Yet what you see as gifts your brother offers represent the gifts you dream your Father gives to you. Let all your brother's gifts be seen in light of charity and kindness offered you, and let no pain disturb your dream of deep appreciation for his gifts to you. And that's the lesson for today. Let's do this one. I will not use the body's eyes today. Father Christ's vision is your gift to me and has power to translate all the body's eyes. Behold into the sight of a forgiven world. How glorious and gracious is this world, yet how much more will I perceive in it than sight can give. The world forgiven signifies your Son acknowledged his Father, lets his dream be brought to truth, and waits expectantly the one remaining instant more of time, which ends forever as your memory returns to him. And now his will is one with yours. His function now is but your own, and every thought except your own is gone. The quiet of today will bless our hearts, and through them peace will come to everyone. Christ is our eyes today, and through his sight we offer healing to the world through him, the only Son whom God created whole, the only Son whom God created one. And that is God. I love you, God. Okay.